Welcome everyone to BECKONED Development Weekly Stream episode 81. Can you believe it? We do that every time we come on here. Dwight goes, "Oh my God, are we on that episode?"
I don't know.
Yes, we are. Yes,
81. Okay, yeah. I mean, it just kind of feels like just another Friday.
Yep, 81.
81.
That's where we're at. So, guys, welcome to this week's episode.
80, what was it? 80 was amazing, and then this is like, well, you know.
Yeah. We'll be doing a very similar type episode. You guys see me kind of render out some shades.
All right.
Dwight wanted to make some points and stuff. But hold on. I want to say hi to the chat. But how you doing? Humans. Collision Bomb, hello. Debbie Olsen, hello. Yeah, Dwight, you've already been saying hi to him, so that's good.
I've been trying to kind of figure out what you're blowing on in that first little intro that you made. It looks like you're almost like kind of, you know, when your mom.
When I'm going.
Yeah, I guess.
That's not me blowing. That's kind of me going. Okay, well, you know.
Or you're blowing the dust off the pencil. That's what you're
okay, doing. You know what? The eraser shit, all of that. That's what it is.
The kids nowadays have no idea what I just said.
Probably not. I don't know.
They don't know that smell. They don't understand having to get up and walk over and empty out the pencil sharpener.
So I had a health teacher in high school. I'm not going to mention his name, Jordan. Jordan. He would fall asleep at the desk.
You got to do some stuff to him.
Yeah. So and I did. I did. Went up to the pencil sharpener, and because back in those days we had the old school pencil sharpeners that was drilled into the teacher's desk.
Oh yeah. Ours was on the wall. Yeah.
We had some of those too, but I grinded it real hard.
You had one of those micromanaging teachers that, you better.
Yeah. But it jolted him awake, and he kicked papers off his desk, and it was quite wonderful.
This is going to kind of tell my age, but bear with me here. So
he was a good guy. I'm not going to say he was a good guy.
I was in sophomore year when we actually had like a networked set of TVs in the school that they could play one thing all at the same time. And I mean, the principal could come on, and it was like a full broadcast to all the TVs. Anyway, so they had special remotes. Well, one of my English teacher kind of left that remote unattended. So next thing you know, I'm on the lunch. I'm at the lunch table and messing with the TVs at lunch and turn them off, turn on. Teachers are trying to figure out what's going on. Why do these things keep turning on and turn it off? And who's got the remote and all this kind of stuff. That went on for about a week. I was kind of a hellraiser. It's okay.
So our dad does this cool little trick. He can whistle with his teeth, so it sounds like that old school.
He can pull his teeth out of his mouth and whistle too. So it's actually very impressive.
So he kind of always taught me this trick when I was a kid. He can do a cricket noise, and so I learned to do it, but because my teeth aren't set up the same way, I had to learn how to do it a different way. But I got the teachers in class to stop class
be hunting
to look for the cricket.
Yeah.
So a few guys, because a bunch of rednecks out there, they'll learn to do it because turkey calling, bird calling,
right?
Things like that. You'll learn to do it. But hold on. No, I'm gonna try to. I can't claim it and then not do it. Oh
my gosh! Hurry up. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, and I can change the pitches of it too, and the timing, the tone of the rapidity. So of the vibration.
The timing of the what?
rapidity, the
Okay. All
the
right.
vibration
I
of
think
the
I'm
tone.
gonna have to pull a.
Oh yeah, that was a yeah.
I'm gonna pull a Scrabble challenge on that right now, man. I gotta,
That's fine. Go for it. That's
rapidity.
fine. That's fine. All right. How's everyone doing tonight, man? So
a noun?
Yeah, I guess, or an adverb, I guess. An adverb.
Yeah. The quality of moving or reacting with great speed. Okay.
Oh, right. So I did say a real word. I win the Scrabble game.
Yeah. Hey, I had you for a second, man. I could have.
It's a good thing I'm the writer.
No kidding. I could have had you.
Oh
yeah, I would have nearly just. I was putting money on that.
Fun. So yeah, guys, all I'm doing is putting some values to it. So I'm running through the composition. I've got Pestro and Eulafi and Sardige in their home. So I'm going to be laying out their base values, kind of the same way you all saw me do earlier. It's just a gray value. This is not what I, suggest for a final render thing. This is just to get the idea of how the light's going to work with the scene. That's going to give me a good idea when I go into the final render, how everything's going to work out. So that's kind of the journey we're on.
That's where kind of some of this just a minute ago we were going with that, because like I was reading through some of the slides on the book right now, and kind of almost had that. Some of the childhood memories actually kind of came back in. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and it just starts to flood some other thoughts. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
But man, but you talk about a smell that is distinctive. You tell somebody pencil shavings, like you either know it or you don't. You know what I mean?
Nowadays, yeah, that's totally for sure.
What was interesting is my wife and I were in Napa, California, and we were doing a wine tasting, and one of the tasting notes on the tasting card said pencil shavings, and I'm like, I don't want to smell that, and not here, and
yeah.
But man, you could smell the wine, and there was just that hint of opening, and it took me right back to third grade, man. I mean, you could think back to opening that pencil sharpener casing and dumping the shavings out, and just that smell of wood and graphite coming out from that with the shaving. It's a distinctive scent.
A lot of cooks try to do that type of stuff.
And they'll put certain things in there to just and man, you talk about triggering a memory that just you haven't had in a long time. A smell will do it.
Yep. So when you're working off a taste, you're working off of combinations of senses, so they usually blend as well.
You gonna put SmelloVision in this comic book or what?
Oh man! Hey, you know what? I remember when I was a kid, I heard
we were supposed to be smelling the TV by now.
I heard of SmelloVision, and they had it. They had it for the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original one, where you can smell. And then Wizard of Oz, I think, was the other movie they had it for, so you could smell the poppy fields and stuff.
Whatever.
I
will say,
it just it had pre-programmed scents that would puff out, and we see that at Disney World and stuff like that.
That's what I was going to say. The closest I got was being at Disney World, and you'll be in there, and whether it was fresh air that they would pump in where you're doing Treasure Island or whatever, but the grossest one was Lilo and Stitch, and he burps that hot dog, man.
Yeah.
And they kicked the fan on to tuft you in the face, and it smelled like hot dogs. And it's just like, all right, dude, that's gross.
It's awesome.
but you talk about immersion. I mean, it just brought you in. I liked the ride they had for
Avatar, where you
yeah, I've not done that.
you sit on an aperture that, first off, you're looking at a 3D screen.
Okay.
But the apparatus that you're sitting on, it's supposed to imitate those flying.
Right.
Sorry, guys, I don't know the lore. I think they stole the idea from me anyway, and I've got the sketchbooks to prove it. As far as like their race of people that they got on the planet. Yeah. Anyway, creating controversy. Anyway, the apparatus, it breathes. So you sit on it. So
okay.
just like they
All
do.
right.
So
Yeah.
it kind of made your inner thighs kind of
Yep.
pulsate. I'm glad I set this for adult channel. But
with a certain rapidity. Yeah.
Yeah. So it worked really well, and they splash the water effects on you when you're going under waterfalls and all that stuff.
Sure.
Just like you're saying, the immersion. It's just dang. It's awesome.
Hey. So we could do that though. So we could put guidelines of that in the forward of the comic book, where you would sit there with a fan and you would sit there with a glass of water. So, and then at certain points of the comic book, we would direct you to throw water on yourself and then turn the fan on high, and that would immerse you further in. Oh man, come on, that's genius.
Yeah, it's genius. Good thing they have.
I sense a little bit of sarcasm there.
Yeah, I do.
Come on, you don't think that? Oh, come on. I'm gonna take a poll. I'm gonna take a vote.
All right, take a vote. So what you were bridging into though, what I wanted to go, oh yeah, you're right about that in this sense, is people do soundtracks within the comic book space. They'll get, because there are a lot of talented people within the group, and they make music, and some pretty killer music. So as far as immersion is, I wanted you to read the book with the soundtrack, not the CD soundtrack, but it's from Jeremy Soule. If you guys are aware of the musician, he does all the Elder Scrolls music. So like Skyrim, Morrowind. It's very atmospheric and adventure, fantasy, and stuff. So I wanted Dwight to read the comic in its current situation, which I'll give you guys updates on in a minute. But yeah, Dwight, how'd you feel?
I've got to read it again. There's a piece where I am not
you for one, you told me you skimmed across it.
I'm not a comic book reader. You know,
he hasn't dived into it. So customers, don't go off of this.
I'm still looking at some of the artwork. I'm still looking at other stuff. I'm still trying to kind of follow. So I really need that opportunity to.
And I've been going through edits as well between Joe and Mr. Bandito and a few of our other people, including Collision Bomb. Oh, Bangerang, Noah, how you doing, dude? I've been going through edits as well, so I don't want to bog you down with like 50 different edits. I've been trying to wait for the moment where Joe goes, you need 1 point left. I think if you nail this point, because you touch on it here, you do a little bit here, but if you can land it, I think you've got a winner. And I'll tell you guys, any of you guys that have funded Star Circuit or know that it's coming and are interested in what the reviews are going to be, I can predict those. I've backed a few books within the community, and I've been reading them. Some creative stuff, guys. I mean, a lot of people are conceptualizing and reaching out to things, and I can see where you're going, and there's some awesome stuff. But Star Circuit Joe knew what he was doing, and so I'm going to be able to gauge a lot of things off of that, because Joe's been close to us working on Beckon. His name's in the credits of the game for a lot of his input. So I can't wait to see people's reactions to, and I mainly talk about like Star Blades. And I didn't back the book, but I was almost about to back it, like, a while back, and then I just got kind of slammed with other projects that popped up within the rotation. And dude, Star Circuit is gonna knock everybody's socks off. I can't wait to hear the reviews from it. But when it comes to this book, I'm looking at trying to hit that same flavor as far as like doing something different and coming out pretty heavy. But this one is a 28-page book as it stands.
Yep.
And there's a lot more coming because it is comic 1 of 3 of a trilogy that launches off a probably 7-issue series, 8-issue series. And that just tells the story almost complete before the game story. So if I broke the game story down into issues, it would be another like maybe 7 or 8 issues. I can probably do a little bit more than that, or I could compress some of those bits together. But that will be another whole series. And then I originally had the idea where Taj and Ellen Lane were on this Lord of the Rings trilogy adventure when they're older. So when I decided to do Beckoned as a game, I was working for a company having to do all the artwork for their game, not just marketing, but animation, the game art, all of it, just everything. So the fact that I actually performed well there gave me the confidence to kind of attack Beckon the way you saw me attack it art-wise. And you experience. Basically, I needed the guy brave enough to, like you, to jump into it. So with comic books, it is a different medium, but I'm trying to find my own bit in it. And because of the help I've been getting, and I love hearing people's reaction. I've got a few very important people checking this thing out and giving me some test reads. And I'm glad to hear the response. It seems like there's just one little element. It's not a major one. It's something that's very subtle. But I'm going to get it there. And me trying to race that tail, I want that tail to come up. I got to move the kid liver.
I was going to say, you kind of seem to be
struggling
a little bit.
No, I just kind of drew the door closer, inner, making it more slender for the composition. And that even came down and broke out my silhouette here. So I don't even know if that was a smart decision.
Erase it and go again.
Right. Because my original width was about out here. So anyway, it's been a good week as far as.
How was that too, man? Working without all those eraser little, shavings on the paper.
It's nice. I don't want to lie. It's nice.
Then you had to smudge. Get in trouble.
The biggest cheat about digital work to traditional is what you're seeing me do right now is I don't have to redraw.
Yeah, you got to twist and stretch I
get to lasso it and mess around with it and not waste anything that I was like, But then the other thing is this: would it be quicker to redraw it or to select it and manipulate it? That makes sense?
Sure.
Wait a second. If you guys just saw what I saw.
You're taking the tail with it. That kind of, defeats the purpose.
I did. I was sloppy with my selection. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess.
You guys.
That is.
These
that's
are
semi
just layouts. But go ahead. What?
That's semi cheating.
Yeah.
You're just using the tools available to the trade. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I'm stubborn too. Like, there's quicker ways to doing what I do. A lot quicker ways. But I'm a traditionally trained guy. And when I came into digital art, it was how do I adapt to it?
Yeah.
So I worked with the Intuos pad because I'm not going to try to transfer that into mouse work. I did that when I was younger on MS Paint. And then Kenton had a Intuos pad back in 1998. Like, we're talking the old, like, beige models still. And I played with that, and I was like, oh my God, this is so high tech and sci-fi. It's awesome. I never in my life dreamed I'd live long enough to see a 1-to-1 like we get with our screens and the pens.
Yeah.
Because I also draw on the phone too, guys. I actually download Autodesk and go nuts. But it's just insane. Like, I thought that was going to be something I would never see. But here I am working on a digital, tablet.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different than drawing with the pencil and paint. That's for sure.
It is, but I still believe if you're going to know what you're doing before you get to this level, because the only thing that this allowed me to do was make it marketable. The rest of it's fine art.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do traditional stuff, that's fine art. From what I get from the comic book industry, a lot of that traditional comic book art is highly respected. I'm just not the one to do it. Right? I got too spoiled working with games.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see some of the stuff that you've been putting together actually make it out on print. That's going to be cool.
Oh, yeah. And guys, if you do want to check out what we are talking about, the banner right here, right there, is it's kind of the game that was in the intro. We usually close the show out with that, but it is on Steam. If you do want to go check it out, it is there. It's free to try out the prototype. As far as I'm concerned.
Seems like that boss bug is good to go.
Yep. As far as that's concerned, boss is spawning again. Yeah. So guys, go check it out if you're curious. It's fun. It's experimental, so you expect to die the first few times, but if you really indulge it, you'll get it on the second or third try. But yeah, think about Punch-Out and Final Fantasy and merge them together. So that's the boxing game on Nintendo, and role-playing games on every platform now.
I thought it was neat that some of them actually came to that on their own. It wasn't. It didn't have to be said. That was cool.
Yeah, it wasn't just us saying that. But so yeah, guys, I also wanted to say it's like I know like our weekly shows don't really seem like they're too much of an update or anything, but it is 1 hour out of the whole week that we can let you all know what we're doing, and that's important to me and to Dwight, and it was him that really came through to get those coins to a lot of us. So thank you, Dwight.
I didn't mail them out, man.
No. I mailed them out, but they wouldn't have happened if you and me didn't, have the conversation and come.
You and I nearly thought the same
thing. Yeah.
Before we talked to each other, because we were nearly coming to that idea either way, and I think the idea just spawned from our sense of wanting to thank you all and let you all know that there was still an appreciation for you guys coming out and coming to the Indiegogo either way, and
Yeah.
putting money down and believing in us to put that stuff together. And I didn't for my thoughts, I didn't want that to die. I didn't want y'all to come away empty-handed for what you brought to the table. And then also the idea was, hey, you know, we're going to be back, and we want you to realize that, hey, they didn't give up on us, and this proves it. And it was something, instead of just sending you the card, right? And it's like, well, you know, okay, all right, whatever. They send us a card with a thank you in it or whatever. We wanted to send something.
Did their best.
but you know what I mean, though. We wanted to send something that was a token of that appreciation, and out of the list of items that we had out there on that storefront for you to buy as a perk, that was one of those that just, hey, we've already got the design, we could get it put together and get it put out there, and it's something that just you could hold in your hand and you could feel it and go, hey, this is real. And that to me is kind of where my head went. And then Jeremy had called and was like, hey, I was thinking, and we nearly came to the same, like, together on the phone. We nearly told each other the exact same idea at the same time. It was pretty surreal.
So when it comes to the comic book, we have to have some interesting perks coming that way too. So
I'm telling you, man, full immersion comic book.
A soundtrack is even theorized.
Could you imagine? We'll talk to Joe about it too. You can be on your motorcycle while you're reading the book, and it'll feel like you're actually racing inside the comic book.
Oh yeah. Wear your helmets, guys.
Until you crash, and then we didn't tell you to ride the motorcycle while you're reading the book. But hey, you know, it's each to their own.
Wear your helmet. But yeah, so
there's some that I would, never mind.
Some of the perks, which you kind of dodged this a few times, but it's not something to dodge. We're actually kind of quite excited to have this kind of in the background. I mention it from time to time. Dwight kind of goes, oh yeah, that thing. And then we move on. But it is the card game. So as Dwight's going to read over this draft of the book, I hope he recognizes my art plan for the card game and how the card game works initially works hand in hand with this book. So I really would like for us to be able to have a printable, minimized down version of the card game that he's already put together digitally through Unreal, and it works. We've been talking about rules and stuff, but now as the comic book is coming to a maturity, there's certain special items that appear in the comic book.
Right.
So, meaning we have certain things to maybe talk about to make the basic deck, if you would, the printable deck, maybe something a bit more interesting and relevant to the comic book itself. We also got to find a printer for that too. We have seen a lot of cards be done in the CG community with everyone's books when they're doing like game cards or standees or things. So people are out there that'll print them.
Yeah, we'll find it, and that'll add to it. I think that'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
What's in the box?
It's not a box. It's kind of like an extremely ornate.
Come on,
dining room island. I guess I don't have any fruit or anything on it, so it doesn't really decorate. That's a good idea. Thank you, Dwight.
Yep, it's Marcus's head.
Whatever.
Nothing.
More of what? More of what?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
Just going back to 7.
It's 7 at like Final Fantasy 7. What are you talking about?
No, 7. What's in the box?
Oh, the movie 7. Right.
It was his wife's head. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do we really know that's what it was? I mean, we know though, right?
It was a really good bluff if it wasn't. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then, what could it have been? What could have been that Morgan Freeman like just speechless? You know.
I think it's been nearly long enough. It's almost time to watch that again.
Right. I did watch The Butterfly Effect a few weeks ago, which has that movie featured in it.
Yeah.
And the first one, not the dumb second or third one, which I didn't watch because I heard they were dumb. But the first one was good. Feel how you do about Ashton Kutcher. But that movie I thought was fun. There's some problems with the logic, like once it gets to the end, and there's 2 endings to that movie. I thought it was a fun exploration of it. I love the actor that's in it that plays Thumper. He was in Boy Meets World. He's the big guy, and he's not big anymore. He's been working out, like thinning out and everything for his health.
One of the guys at work showed me that today, man. He went from huge to just a normal guy almost.
Yeah.
He was in quite a bit of stuff.
Oh, Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just always that token big guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. But
it was just like I said, it was kind of interesting. It's some of those things that something sparks that memory. What are you doing?
Sorry, got a little while with my mark making.
Just a
little bit, yeah.
Just a happy accident, huh?
No, just trying to get like
I got
trusses.
I got stuck on Bob Ross the other day.
Happy little trusses.
It's still magical. It's magical, dude. To watch him go from when to this, all of a sudden there it is. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's painting 101 impressionism.
But I was browsing around Pluto TV, and there's the Bob Ross channel. And
dude, he kicked off about 4 years ago online on Twitch. 4 years ago, he started kicking off. Everyone started watching and going, "Oh my god, this guy's a freaking magician!"
Yeah,
and it's like that's how I learned. Like I've got my first painting done off of one of his instructional kits.
Yeah,
like in videos and stuff. Like because I was that kid. But yeah, it's the process is impressionism, and impressionism is like you can take impressionism. It depends on how many layers you're going to go to dictate the forms.
Yeah,
you can be artsy fartsy and go a few layers in, and I get it because I've experimented with it at the time. As long as your audience is about 3 feet, 4 feet away, everything merges together and it creates your form. And there's a psychological art in doing that anyway. But when you're doing what Bob Ross is doing, you're kind of going a couple steps further than that and developing it using the brush strokes, the different textures, and the colors. Like he loves that ochre, doesn't he? He loves that ochre.
Man, dude, he's just got those set like 6 colors, man, and he makes everything else out of it.
But that I do that with red and you know,
like artists, Prussian blue and
cadmium yellow or a canary yellow, cadmium blue. Yeah. So he goes off the rails with it, but it's also all commercializing.
Yeah.
You know, So you buy those tubes. Now, if you get the right red and the right blue and the right yellow and the right black and the right white, you can mix any color.
Yeah, you can do anything.
And that's how I do a lot of my traditional work, is just using those base colors. Because I know the science of it. You know, you want to do this a little bit like this. You know, you want to add tone to it, or you want to add saturation, or you want to warm it up, or you want to cool it down. Like that's taken art theory twice at SCAD. Ugh. Second time was a mistake. I was supposed to go to Provence, France, and sculpt for a year.
Don't need that. We'll get this figured out, and I'll take you over there anyway.
It's an old medieval city, still walled in. The library is an old medieval bakery, and it lies in the middle of a long, like prairie type setting. So when my professor was taking me through, he was my 3D professor, because I sculpted Taj and Lenoir. There's a little trick for you guys, little nugget of Easter egg. But I sculpted those two characters in college, and he wanted to take me out there. He said, "You'll take my life sculpting class, but then the only other class you'll have to take throughout the week is personal journal. Like, all I have to do is just live and sit and find somewhere and draw it, and then come to class once a week and talk about it." So I was down, and we signed me up for all that.
How does that make you feel?
Not going back, or not being able to do it?
Well, you know, the journal.
I never got to do it. That's why Bayorn does it.
Well, so how does that make you feel? How does Bayorn make you feel?
Bayorn is an existential reach of my metaphysics into a world that doesn't exist. What do you want? You know,
so
all these characters are.
Well, so what do you feel you should do about that?
I'm doing exactly that. I'm getting them outside myself so other people can sit there and judge them for what they are.
Well, but why are you doing that?
I don't know.
See? So I can go and get into that piece of your mind and actually have you start to think about where you might want to take that, and then somehow you'll have it. And then once you do have it, then all of a sudden we'll make something more out of it, and then you'll be better.
I'm glad Tony Robbins' outreach is growing.
No, I kind of almost started feeling like old boy from Jurassic Park.
The little one, or which one? Like, you're talking about the first Jurassic Park? Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, the one that was talking about the water across the back of the hand. And
no. You just called. Did you just call him a boy? You did.
Huh?
You did. You called Dr. Malcolm a boy. He's a chaotician. Yeah. You know, always licking his lips. Dude, chaos theory, dude.
So,
yeah.
Hey.
Which was what butterfly effect was. So that's a callback.
Hey, so, you know, the water it's gonna travel this way again, right? Because, you know, that's the way it went last time. No, hey, no, see?
Because little bits on your hairs on the back of your hand creates a different circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
And see, now I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
No, that is the essence of chaos.
You can tell he seems like, man, that's him in real life, you know.
Oh, yeah, he's
that's
awesome.
just too much.
Any other time I could tell you I know the actor's name right now.
Normally I'd pull it right out, man, and I'm just drawing a blank.
Y'all know who we talking about, though?
Either way.
Did you ever see the movie Powder?
A long time ago.
He was in that too. I haven't watched.
There's just some of those that, man, they're, they find a role in just about anything, which is good because you've got some actors that just, if they're not that character, they don't have a role to play,
Yeah, that's why Will Ferrell's typecasted.
There's just some of those that just, man, that's their niche, and the screenwriter will find that's exactly what they're looking for, and they'll cast them, and there you go. But it's almost written for that personality.
Oh yeah, most of the time it is, because that's the sales.
Which has worked really well for, gosh, dude, some of those style roles like Denzel and Equalizer and all, Man on Fire, that kind of stuff, man. It just
Training Day, man.
That's him, man. Training Day was just a
that was gnarly.
That was a mind twist, man. I mean, that was where you take that actor that is normally always a certain character and a certain morale, with a certain morality in a movie, and all of a sudden you twist him and you make him the complete polar opposite, and everybody in that theater's going, "What? No." And just nearly arguing with you that guy is, that guy's evil, Yeah,
because you sympathize for him.
Yeah.
And not through the movie, but you sympathize for him, like you said, people recognize him, and that's what makes a good actor. Is
but I think
in a role so much that people don't recognize.
But it's intriguing that he got away with it, right? So I think you and I've even spoke about it before. Joffrey from Game of Thrones, that dude can never. I don't believe.
Oh no, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Man, to see him in a different role than a little shithead prince,
He's smart, so he's giving it time. I haven't seen him pop up in.
I haven't either. Man,
he's letting time do its thing to his body,
to switch and twist and move to something from that. My gosh, man! When you were that role that just like people hated, to see you in something different will be interesting.
But you get guys like Leonardo DiCaprio or Gerard Butler does a lot of stuff like that where he jumps around a bit.
I don't agree with DiCaprio in other areas, but as far as some acting roles that he's done, he's done a tremendous job. I don't agree with his other stuff at times.
I'm just referring to his job.
But who does?
Save the glaciers.
You never agree with everybody 100% of the time. But I mean, he's pulled off some really good roles that just prove that he knows what he's doing.
By the way, do you want a good horror movie to watch that's actually minimalist, like silent film, but it's really, really good, but it's better than The Revenant, in my opinion? The Headhunter. Check it out.
Okay.
It's on YouTube to rent or to buy. I should have bought it.
Come on, man. The Hills Have Eyes was awesome.
Yeah. So think about, you'd be down on this as far as the gore factor and the darkness of the storyline.
No, dude, I'm just pulling your leg.
Hills Have Eyes was actually pretty good.
No, it wasn't.
Which one are you talking about?
Exactly. It just turned into.
I like both of them.
Okay.
I'm talking about the original one and the remake. I don't know about the ones after that.
Come on, man. A horror movie and it's just a bunch of hillbillies and they're cutting people up, and man, that's been done before.
Yeah, like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I dare you.
Done before.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes, I get you. That flavor of horror is starting to lose its potency. But does it, as long as that crazy ass redneck still exists out there in the woods? Because they're there.
Hey,
They're there.
I don't. I'm
Not
almost
to
kind of.
not to
I'm
scare
almost
you.
kind of thinking that
Not to scare you, but they're there.
no, actually having some border property with that guy. I mean, I know ain't nothing coming from that side. You know, that side over there, that side's protected.
Like I said, like in Texas Chainsaw Man, he's the meat producer, right? Like he worked in a meat packing factory, you know.
Ain't nobody coming that way.
Sorry, meat packers, you all do a service.
Yeah,
not for the vegans.
They've had some sausage makers kind of give them a bad name, that's for sure. Stuff just makes it in there, you know.
Yeah, hasn't that been coming up a bit? Like things like,
dude,
yeah,
that's been going on for years, man.
That's the other thing. I have not thought about
the sausage plant on Tula'Banya. Heck now we're talking. Woohoo!
Foodborne illnesses or plagues within the world of Devanis. I've got this substance, denethite, that does quite enough to kind of keep everything on the toes, and it's something that's been in my mind for the past few weeks. Well, I guess past few months, pandemic and everything. So
but you've got more of like you've got something else that is that. I'm not going to go into it, but you've kind of had that thought out. It's not that you don't. It's just a different twist on it.
Yeah, I actually think I can go a little bit more because there's different type of plagues. It's something that I could use not as like in the main core story, but like in.
Oh man, let's not. Yeah, we've not been outside of this far enough to be able to go into that conversation.
And I'm talking years down the road.
Yeah, it could get.
Dude, how long was it after 9/11 they started making movies about that? Stop it.
Oh, Stop 2 weeks.
Stop it.
It wasn't long.
We write what we know.
Well, the outbreak. We can go there.
Well, this comedian, Bo Burnham, has done a special. He's normally considered a comedian. People have been raving about it for the past few weeks. I think 3 weeks. Kenton's been trying to get me to watch it. It's on Netflix. So if you got Netflix, you haven't seen it, you want to give it a try, go check it out. I do know him as a comedian, though. But from what I get, and I've seen him be funny, but from what I get from the special, it's not really funny as much as it is an expression of a man dealing with loneliness during the pandemic or creativity. The impressive thing is he produces the whole thing himself, and it's got a lot of like professional production behind it. So the fact that he did all of it himself again mimics things that we see in video games as well, like Flappy Bird that you and I had talked about ad nauseum jokingly, but. I've looked at other games way before this, like Dust and Elysian Tale, or Undertale, or the Downwell game. I actually met that guy. But minimalism tends to create powerful narratives if you know how to use it, and that's kind of where I was going with this first bit, because minimalism would mean less I have to control or mitigate. As long as I was powerful in certain areas, I didn't have to go too grandiose with it, because trust me, I heard enough of that from the game community or people talking about the game. Dude, your scope is just too crazy. It's too large. So I didn't want to start repeating that with the comic community either. It seems like I'm right on track, Will, with this. And with this start of a book that's this long, the pacing's tight from what I got, from what I'm getting from Joe and Smiley, is the pacing's good. Dwight said he skimmed it, so we still have to wait until until he gives us his review.
There were some technical differences that I was experiencing.
I do know that, it wasn't the comic, it was like the interface. So I sent you it all in one image, which I thought would be convenient for you to just slide through. But
well, it wasn't sliding around that easy. So
right.
one thing that kind of pops up kind of in my mind as far as a conversation piece or a question, and so you've discussed it before, but I just want to bring it up again. So really and truly, where, how did you come up with Devanis? Why all of this stuff? I mean, we had talked about it kind of before.
I like science. I like science. I like theoretical physics. I like the theories of multiverse. I like all those things, but I also enjoy medieval fantasies. I love textiles of leather, the honor of sword fighting, the ideas of it.
Yeah, the Renaissance fair piece of it. Yeah.
Love all that, like, romanticism behind it, and, the reality as well. Like, the reality is, if you're ever in a sword fight, the shit, it sucks. Like, you get cut up.
It's real. Up, yeah.
It's real.
It's real.
And I'm one of those guys who did that crap when I was a kid. I won't do that now. I was really dumb and really lucky.
This kind of helps tell that just thought of where your head's been at certain points.
It's a bit fun, I'm seeing everybody else do their creations when it comes to worlds or any of that, and I'm like, well, me and my friends have really been working this out for a long time, and this isn't the first time I've tried to rally people behind it. And it works every time. Every time people are behind it and ready to go. The trick is, we're not really popular people. I'm not one to have been driving that much attention all this time. Building. So, but now we are. Now that's the directive, if that makes sense. Or that's the mission. So you guys, everybody's seeing something that I've been doing for a while. Joe's been part of it. You've been part of it. Kenton's been part of it. Collision Bomb has been a huge part of it.
If you had to do it again.
Oh, Johnny Cage, what's up, buddy?
If you had to do it again, what would you change?
Who are you? Vice? What are you doing? Whose side are you on here?
Just picking your brain, man. I will. So how about I kind of move some of that and respond to some. As I've said before, for you, I like seeing where you're at right now with shifting gears to the book and getting this put together and still being able to put forth the thought and the story and bring this and do the art and develop. I like seeing where that went. I like being able to see that extra. And that part being a part of that has been really cool.
Guys, still, if you want to check out what Dwight's, put together for all of us too. I mean, this go on to Steam, check it out. It's playable, it's workable, it's scalable. It slows down after a while, but if you're that far along, then you've permeated the mechanics enough to know what we're doing and should get the idea and going, holy crap. If you have any questions, refer to our webpage at zadestudios.com.
We got a boy figured out with a t-shirt.
We do need to get him set up with a coin and a t-shirt. He was one of our backers, so he gets a coin anyway.
Gotcha.
So the t-shirt, I was going to give him one of the ones out of our merchandise on this because we already have those made. But you're on the warpath on these long sleeve ones.
I was just kind of looking and and checking and asking.
Okay.
But we had
I gotta get his size. He probably already said it.
We need to check up on that. But we had kind of stated that, you know, that if we did that shirt, it was going to be something different. It was going to not just be the average plain shirt. There was going to be something to it.
Right. All right.
So that concept that I had sent you was kind of like that breathable fishing shirt, you know, like like the outdoor active.
I'd like to have one of those. That's
why I was kind of asking, because I mean it'd be.
We'll let you all know them when we make them. So they may either be part of the campaign for the comic book, or they may be added to the store on the webpage. Which is right here, zadestudios.com. It will take you to our developer page first, which is basically just introducing you guys to me and Dwight, letting you guys what's going on with us. And we still have Beckon and the closed Indiegogo page. You guys can still look through that because I think it was a great, expression of what we did, what we tried to do. You guys can go through it and, kind of look at what we tried to do to get to where we're at. But again, if you're on Steam, you can go there and check out Beckoned on there. You can play the prototype if you have a PC, of course. But other than that, you like and subscribe to the channel. This is what we do every Friday. We come together. Guys, I'm always happy to have Bud in here. And Noah, when you show up, dude, in the bang rings, that hits me. Reese, it's good to see you again.
He was in and then kind of just
he moved
in and out.
He moves in and out. Collision Bomb has always been a huge part of what we do here. So thank you so much for your help. Debbie Olson, thank you so much for showing up. You're one of those loyal ones as well. Thank you so much, guys, for showing up tonight. That is our episode. I hope it was interesting. If that shot showed you something, is that the comic book took a little bit of a turn in the beginning. We want to make this thing awesome. So between Joe, Smiley, actually Collision Bomb, myself, and we're all trying to kind of read over it, look through it, and make sure that it serves you guys the best way it can. It will be my first comic coming out, so I want to make it the right way. I do obviously have to work on letters. I've been talking to Joe about that and the process with working on that. I've already got it planned out. I just got to bust out and start to do it.
I'm telling you, man, scented candles while you read the comic book for certain things, if different chambers you go into, full immersion comic book, just hear me out.
That's what about sound effect. Okay, so we might get a scented candle made for the campaign. Soundtrack for the campaign. I like the 24 Eyes Welcome to. Yeah. Scented candle soundtrack.
Scented candle. Call it like Musky Cave. Oh,
there you go. I like this. Marketing. Bancross had puzzles. We got candles.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us today on this episode. We will be back next Friday. If you want to check out Joe Catapano's Sunday a Cup of Joe. That's usually in the mornings. We also have Art Bros on Wednesdays together. So if you haven't yet, subscribe over here. And if you haven't and you can, go play Beckoned. And guys, we hope you all have a safe, nice weekend. It's been fun. We love you.
Thank y'all.